everybody, and welcome to News at 9. I know we have all been worried about the sudden outbreak of Lyme disease throughout the U.S. Today, we have Ashley Jones, a specialist and epidemiologist on Lyme disease, here to educate and help prevent Lyme disease throughout America.
Hello, Susan. How are you today?
I'm great, thanks for asking.
Thanks for having me on News at 9. What can I do for you?
So, we just wanted to learn a little bit about Lyme disease. So could you tell us, what Lyme disease is? Now tell us, what is Lyme disease? I know we have many parents and families skeptical of allowing their children outdoors.
Oh, no need to worry about that, my fellow American citizens. Ticks have been around for thousands of years.
The black-legged ticks, or deer ticks, as you can see in this picture, spreads the disease in the northeastern, mid-Atlantic, and north-central United States. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention found that the western black-legged ticks spreads the disease around the Pacific coast. The ticks can attach to any part of the body, but usually in hard-to-see areas like the groin, armpits, and scalp. The ticks like the warmth of the hard-to-see places, which makes them harder to feel and harder to see. Susan, this is a diagram of ticks that have been found in the United States. We are primarily concerned with the adult ticks and the nymphs. Adult ticks feed and mate primarily on deer. You may also find adult ticks on dogs, horses, and other domesticated animals. Nymphs feed primarily on smaller animals. These include squirrels, mice, lizards, rabbits, and birds that feed on the ground. Migratory birds help distribute the ticks throughout the country, and that's how Lyme disease spreads. Nymphical ticks cause most cases of Lyme disease. Because nymphs are as small as poppy seeds and their bite is painless, people often don't realize they have been bitten. Adult ticks can also infect humans, but are easier to spot and remove. Nymphs feed on small rodents, birds, and other small mammals in the late spring and early summer. Nymphs will also feed on humans, and if previously infected with the Lyme disease bacteria, they can transmit the disease to humans. Nymphs molt into adult ticks in the fall. In the fall and early spring, adult ticks feed on and mate on larger animals like deer. Adult female ticks will sometimes also feed on humans. In spring, adult female ticks lay their eggs on the ground, completing the 2-year cycle of their life.
Wait, so how long can a deer tick stay on someone's body? And how do they get onto a human or an animal?
Well, Susan, ticks crawl onto animals or people as they brush against them. There are myths said that ticks can jump. Ticks definitely can't jump or run. Ticks found on the scalp usually have crawled there from lower parts of the body. Ticks obtain their host blood by inserting only their mouths, not their bodies, into the skin of a person or animal. Ticks are slow feeders. One meal can take several days, and they fall off if they haven't been caught. As they feed, their bodies slowly enlarge.
Oh, so ticks definitely can't jump? That's really gross that there could be a tick on you and you would have no idea.
Yeah.
Any questions from my audience? Yes, researcher Lauren Hunt, what is your question?
What type of bacteria causes Lyme disease?
Great question, Lauren. I really appreciate your interest in Lyme disease.
Lyme disease is a tick-borne illness caused by the bacterium Borrelia burgdorferi. It is spread through the bite of infected ticks. In order for the Lyme disease bacterium to be transmitted, the tick must be attached for at least 36 to 48 hours. Tick saliva contains immune suppressors that help disseminate the bacteria throughout the host's body. And because ticks feed on so many different animals, they can spread the disease widely.
So how does Lyme disease spread from person to person?
Although no cases of Lyme disease have been linked to blood transfusion, scientists have found that the Lyme disease bacteria can live in blood that is stored for donation. Individuals being treated for Lyme disease with an antibiotic should not donate blood. Individuals who have completed antibiotic treatment for Lyme disease may be considered as a potential blood donor. Although dogs and cats can get Lyme disease, there is no evidence that they spread the disease directly to their owners. However, pets can bring infected ticks into your home or yard. Consider protecting your pets, and possibly yourself, through the use of tick control pest products for animals, like Frontliner. Always cook meat thoroughly. Note that hunting and dressing deer or squirrels may bring you in close contact with the infected ticks and their habitats. There is no credible evidence that Lyme disease can be transmitted through air, food, water, or from the bites of mosquitoes, flies, fleas, or lice. It can also not be transmitted through touching, kissing, or having sex.
And how would you know if you had Lyme disease?
Well, here are some early signs and symptoms you can look for. It begins with fever, chills, headache, fatigue, muscle and joint aches, and swollen lymph nodes. These all occur 3 to 30 days after the tick bite. There is a rash called erythema migrans. It occurs in approximately 70 to 80% of infected people. It begins at the site of a tick bite after the delay of 3 to 30 days. It expands gradually over a period of days, reaching up to 12 inches or more across. It may feel warm to the touch, but it is rarely itchy or painful. Sometimes it clears and enlarges. It results in a bullseye appearance. It may appear on any area of the body.
There are also a lot of later signs and symptoms that occur from days to months after the tick bite and are a lot more severe. These include severe headaches and neck stiffness, additional erythema migrans, rashes all over the body in new areas, arthritis with severe joint pains and swelling, particularly the knees and other larger joints, facial palsy, which is a loss of muscle tone or droop on one or both sides of the face, intermittent pain in tendons, muscles, joints, and bones, heart palpitations or irregular heartbeat, episodes of dizziness or shortness of breath, inflammation of the brain and spinal cord, nerve pain, shooting pains, numbness, or tingling in the hands or feet, problems with short-term memory. Today, Lyme disease is one of the fastest growing vector-borne infections of the United States and estimates that there are over 329,000 new cases each year. In 1996, there were around 16,000 confirmed cases of Lyme disease and has increased until its highest point in 2009 with about 3,000 confirmed cases and about 8,000 probable or unknown cases. From 2009 to 2016, cases have gone down slightly but stayed around the ranges 22,000 to 27,000. From 2008 until 2016, there were a lot more probable or unknown cases, probably due to the people not reporting cases. According to the CDC's confirmed Lyme disease cases by age and sex from the years 2001 to 2016, males aged 5 to 10 are far more prone to Lyme disease and much more likely to get it than females. As you can see, age 5 to 10 are a lot more prone to Lyme disease and had more cases than females. This leads me to believe that since boys are a lot more adventurous and like to play outside, they must have went through woods and picked up a tick along the way.
So is it curable?
Well, a diagnosis of Lyme disease should be taken into account for the following factors: the history of possible exposure to ticks in areas where Lyme disease is known to occur, signs and symptoms of illness, the result of blood tests used to detect whether the patient has antibodies to Lyme disease bacteria. Patients treated with antibiotics in early stages of the infection usually recover rapidly and completely. Most patients who are treated in later stages of the disease also respond well to antibiotics. A few patients may have persistent or recurrent symptoms and may require an additional course of antibiotic treatment. Longer courses of antibiotics have not been shown to be beneficial in patients who have been previously treated and have chronic symptoms. Varying degrees of permanent damage to joints or the nervous system can develop in the patients with late Lyme disease. Typically, these are patients in whom Lyme disease was unrecognized in the early stages or for whom the initial treatment was inadequate. Lyme disease is rarely life-threatening, and there is no vaccine currently available.
Wow, I wish there could be a cure. What happens if you don't get it treated?
Well, untreated, Lyme disease can lead to severe heart, neurological, and joint problems because the bacteria can affect many different organs and your organ systems.
Jeez! I'm definitely going to look for those symptoms now. How about we take a look from Kayla Simpson to see where these ticks live? Kayla?
Hello, Susan and Ashley. It is Kayla here. I am in Bridgewater, Massachusetts at Bridgewater State University, as you can see. And it is a whopping 47 degrees with a lot of rain. And we are looking at a tick habitat right here. As you can see, the trees and the grass and the wet, gross leaves at the bottom. The risk of exposure of ticks is greatest in the woods and in the edge area between lawns and woods. However, ticks can also be carried in by animals onto lawns and gardens and into houses by pets. Generally, you can find ticks where the animals they feed on live. These usually include wooded and grassy areas. The adult ticks for its next blood meal by climbing up grasses and bushes to wait for their animals to pass by and crawl onto their victim. Nymphs and larvae are typically found in layers of decomposed leaves under the trees. Ticks thrive in damp environments and are less active in hot and dry weather. Even in places where ticks generally do not carry Lyme, there may be hotspots of infection depending on local conditions. The tick infection rate may also change from year to year, even in one location. We're at Bridgewater State University, and I'm going to call over a student. Hi, student. Do you want to be on News at 9?
Yeah, I'd love to.
All right, so we are doing a research project on Lyme disease. Now, where are you from?
I am from New Hampshire.
Oh, a lot of woods there.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So, do you know about ticks, about Lyme disease? What do you...
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have heavily wooded areas in my town where I'm from. Right in my backyard, we have a lot of woods, and like as a kid, I would always play in them. I have a dog, and he'd constantly come in. We'd have to pull off ticks off him and all that. And Lyme disease has affected my family. My brother and my cousin both had it.
And what were their symptoms like?
Well, my cousin, they both had the bullseye.
Oh,
Is that
so
what it
the
is?
early symptoms.
Yeah, so they had the
Oh.
bullseye and that, but it also, my brother, it affected him a lot. It made his joints, I remember his joints hurting a lot. He had it,
Yeah.
especially his knees.
Oh.
He was, he was staying in his bed for a while because it caused him a lot of pain. So,
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, student.
You're welcome.
And that is it for the environment of ticks. Just make sure to watch out for wooded areas like these, and especially the damp and decomposed leaves on the ground. Be aware of when you're walking by to not brush against different branches or leaves and stuff like that so they can't crawl onto you. But that is it for today. Back to you, Susan.
Thank you for the update, Kayla. Now, Ashley, how can we stop this from spreading?
Well, since the 1980s, the reports of Lyme disease have increased to the point that the disease has become an important public health problem in many places of the United States. In 2012, Lyme disease was included as one of the top 10 notifiable diseases by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. In 2013, it became the 5th most commonly reported national notifiable disease, with about 36,000 confirmed and probable cases. With no safe and effective human vaccine for Lyme disease, Healthy People 2010 focuses more on reducing exposure to ticks for a defense against the disease. Approaches to prevent tick-borne disease include the development and use of insect repellent, prompt tick removal, application of pesticides, and reduction of tick habitats. The APHA set up a recommendation list for different organizations to improve the efforts to protect the people and the workers in more tick-borne regions. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration requires employers to provide health education materials related to Lyme disease and other tick-borne diseases in English, Spanish, and other languages that are appropriate so that outdoor workers in tick-borne regions will be aware of risks as well as the prevention. It should also require that employers provide at-risk workers with personal protective equipment to protect against Lyme disease like long pants and tick repellents. They should also adopt an infectious disease standard to protect workers and the public. The CDC's educational and community-based programs should include expansion of public information access points, like the creation of physical education program that compromises the full spectrum of scientific research related to the identification of symptoms associated with Lyme disease, and the publication of an annual report that evaluates published guidelines and current research available on Lyme disease. Outdoor workers in endemic areas are at increased risk of contracting Lyme disease or other tick-borne diseases through contact with ticks during their work. As individuals, there are steps that you can take to prevent Lyme disease, like avoid wooded and brushy areas with high grass and leaf litter, walk in the center of trails, use products that contain permethrin on clothing, treat clothing and gear such as boots, pants, socks, and tents with products containing 0.5% permethrin. It remains protective through several washings. Bathe or shower as soon as possible after coming indoors, preferably within 2 hours. Conduct a full body tick check using a handheld or full-length mirror to view all parts of your body upon return from the tick-infested areas like the woods. Examine gear and pets when they come inside. Ticks can ride into the home on clothing and pets, then attach to a person later, so carefully examine pets, coats, and day packs. Tumble dry clothes in a dryer or on high heat for 10 minutes to kill the ticks on dry clothing after you come indoors. If the clothes are damp, additional time may be needed. If the clothes require washing first, hot water is recommended because that can kill ticks.
Well, Ashley, I can't thank you enough for coming on here to talk to us today.
Thank you for having me, Susan. And remember, we all need to work together to decrease the outbreaks of Lyme disease for our future.
We'll be right back with Jerry's weather report.
Thank you for watching News at 9.